Kim Jong-Un is the sun around which all else revolves in North Korea. He has proven to be a vicious leader. Former CIA Director General David Petraeus probably described it best right there. We are talking about absolute, literally ruthless power.
But, how exactly does that happen? Like, how did an untested 28-year-old man, a young guy who absolutely loved basketball and openly wept at his father's funeral, how did he manage to secure total control over an impoverished, yet highly volatile nuclear-armed state? Welcome to this Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here with us today. We're going to be tracing the highly calculated phases of Kim Jong-un's rise to power, because actually, if you map out his actions, you can see a literal dictator's playbook unfolding in real time. It shows exactly how he consolidated absolute control and basically forced himself onto the world stage. Phase 1. The untested heir. So, when he first emerged, the CIA, and the whole world, viewed Kim as totally inexperienced and highly vulnerable. And you can definitely see why. Intelligence analysts were scrambling. There was almost zero succession planning. In 2011, Kim Jong-il unexpectedly dies at age 70, and suddenly, boom, this 28-year-old is thrust right into power. But here's the crazy part. He wasn't even the eldest son.
Right, so why not the older brothers? Well, the eldest, Kim Jong-nam, effectively disqualified himself back in the early 2000s. Get this, he got caught sneaking into Japan with a fake passport, all because he wanted to visit Tokyo Disneyland. No joke. He ended up living in exile in China. Then you have the middle brother, Kim Jong-chul. He had zero interest in politics. He much preferred playing guitar and was actually spotted attending Eric Clapton concerts over in London. So that basically left the third son, Kim Jong-un, as the default heir.
Phase 2. Crafting a modern god. Taking over a country suffering from chronic food shortages? Yeah, that's no easy job. He had to systematically engineer his public persona from the ground up. He intentionally bypassed his father's legacy. His dad was famously reclusive, never showed his family, and almost never interacted with the public. But the son, he debuts an elegant wife, gets right down on the ground to hug children, and, this is wild, even mimics his highly revered grandfather's exact gait and straw hat. He expertly piggybacked on his grandfather's charismatic, godlike status.
But what's really fascinating is the modern twist he added, which was very likely inspired by his time studying over in Switzerland. He actually created his own personal pop group, the Moranbong Band. We are talking women in miniskirts literally playing the theme song from the American movie Rocky on electric instruments. It was just a shocking, cutting-edge contrast to traditional North Korean propaganda.
Phase 3. Basketball and bizarre diplomacy.
Now this is where we see his personal interests take center stage. Specifically, when he brought former NBA star Dennis Rodman to Pyongyang back in 2013. And Rodman's reaction? It's incredible. He said, "I was just pretending like I was going to Vegas. I'm thinking what the fuck am I clapping for?" Rodman fully expected a wild party trip. Instead, he walked into a stadium of thousands weeping for a dictator he didn't even recognize at first. The tonal whiplash there is just stunning. But then, this truly bizarre intimacy developed between them. They drank tequila and vodka, they smoked cigars together. Rodman actually sang happy birthday to Kim in front of an entire stadium. And Kim even begged Rodman to take him to America to visit what he called the Madison Square Garden building. It's kind of this weird, almost frat boy-like dynamic, just hiding in plain sight with an all-powerful leader.
Phase 4. The ruthless purge.
Okay, we have to hard pivot right now to the brutal reality hiding behind that whole basketball-loving facade. Because while he was doing all this, generals at the heart of the regime were secretly trying to outmaneuver the young leader. And to prove he was just as ruthless as his predecessors, he cracked down hard. During his early years, the rate of public executions tripled. Let that sink in for a second. 3 times the executions. It completely cemented absolute terror over the population. And absolutely no one was untouchable. Take his own uncle, Jang Song-taek. He was a very powerful figure with strong ties to China. It apparently started when he didn't clap enthusiastically enough for Kim. Seriously. Soon after, he was accused of gambling and treason. Following a rapid show trial where he couldn't even mount a defense, he was executed and branded despicable human scum by state media. That sent a terrifying chill straight through the political elite. But his ruthlessness, it didn't stop at the borders either. Look at the sheer mechanics of how he eliminated his older half-brother, Kim Jong-nam. South Korean intel intercepts a memo from Kim. Then Jong-nam arrives at a Malaysian airport. Suddenly, 2 women ambush him out of nowhere, rubbing a highly toxic VX nerve agent directly onto his face. He is dead within minutes. It was a cold, literal spy movie assassination to eliminate his bloodline rival.
Phase 5. Baiting the world stage.
Having secured domestic power and purged his inner sanctum, Kim aggressively turned his attention outward to force international relevance. In early 2017, he initiates a series of missile launches. By July, he tests a rocket capable of reaching Alaska, actually calling it a gift to the American bastards. President Trump threatens total destruction. But then, a massive shift. The tension breaks, and it leads straight to the historic 2018 Singapore summit.
The international perspective completely shifted here. Just listen to how President Trump described him. He wiped out the uncle. He wiped out this one, that one. I mean, this guy doesn't play games. You gotta give him credit. The global view went from completely dismissing him as this vulnerable young man to acknowledging his absolute iron-fisted control of his nation.
This all culminates in what is arguably his ultimate coup, sitting as equals with the President of the United States. I mean, it was massive geopolitical validation. A tiny, impoverished country commanding the world's attention, something his father and grandfather literally never achieved in over 70 years of rule.
Phase 6. The ultimate vulnerability. But you know, despite the summits and the nuclear arsenal, absolute power is never truly absolute. So what is the actual Achilles heel of this heavily fortified regime? Well, it's not a foreign military. It's information. It's citizens accessing smuggled foreign media. Because the moment citizens watch outside media, they start questioning their reality. They realize the Kims are not gods. And once that foundational belief erodes, his political legitimacy vanishes entirely. He has nothing left to stand on. Which leaves us with this absolutely crucial question. If foreign media shatters the illusion of their godhood, what will this nuclear-armed dictator do to keep the dark curtain closed? The lengths to which this regime might go to protect its fragile control, well, that's the true wild card of our geopolitical future. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this gave you a really clear understanding of this incredibly complex topic. I'll see you next time.